Yes, this is the first episode to come out after the DC Universe announced their huge new slate of things coming out. But we're still doing this show. We're still doing it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Batmaning of. This is the show where I take the other characters in the DC Universe and make the Batman for them. And today's is going to be pretty complicated. I guess it's going to be the most, I don't think maybe the most insane, but the most characters, the most story, the most world buildy, the most esoteric one we could do. We're doing the New Gods today, which is very interesting because there are fans of this property for some reason. There is an idea of this property maybe already being in development for some reason. I can't explain it, but the New Gods is on people's minds. Isn't that weird that these characters can exist and do this stuff? Fascinating, because there's just so much about them that you're just like, okay, this is a lot, this is dense, this is interesting. Now, the New Gods represent the same thing as the Eternals to me, and the Eternals, of course, is just like Jack Kirby doing like, this is a lot, I wanted to do this at Marvel, it's stupid. It's that kind of vibe. And the New Gods are the same thing, but before he went back to Marvel to make them. It's just, what if I got to create my own universe of gods based on maybe ones that have existed before? Put them on a planet, the planet's warring, old characters, boom, bada bing, they're there. And that's the thing I wholeheartedly believe when it comes to the New Gods, is that you can never fully authenticate them without the impressions that Jack Kirby left behind. He is the visionary that constructed the entire civilization that is the New Gods and made it what it is. When it gets dense and in your head and weedy, you want it to be that way because that's what Kirby wanted. He wanted you to look at like the stupid relationship between New Genesis and Apocalypse, the characters in both worlds, and be like, okay, this is high concept bullshit, but I like what I'm seeing. And it's such a hard idea to fabricate in modern stories. Sometimes it works, and there's certain creators and writers who find a way to make that story work, but to actually get it perfect, it's nearly impossible to do because there's just so much in your head bullshit that comes with the New Gods. Not that it's a complicated story. Here's a planet, the people are warring, the ruler over here is like hoity-toity boo-boo, this guy's like dark and brooding after the anti-life equation. It's not a complex situation to throw yourselves into. It's really not. But at the same time, you're like, wait a minute, they're in the fourth world, and what is that exactly? It's outside of the continuity, and then there's like war pits where people fight for eternity, and then the dads traded their kids, and then the one kid was in the pit, and then the other one became a beacon of good, but is he really good? And then there's like the forager stuff and like all this extra added crap and the parademons, and you're like, what? Okay, whew, that's a bountiful harvest that we are feasting upon, isn't it? And you're like, yeah, that's cool. The New Gods are cool, but you're not giving like a New Gods comic book to a first-time comic book reader and being like, this is brilliant. They're gonna be like, I hate everything about this, and that's what I kind of like about them. How do you make those characters relatable, connectable to just an average person? It's hard to do, but that's one of the things that makes comic books awesome, because you have to kind of be in the know to really know what's getting known, I like that stuff. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it falls on its face like Eternals content does. The New Gods has held on a little bit stronger. Maybe because the characters were able to bounce around more. Some of them worked with the Justice League in some iterations. Some of them have branched off to become a huger entity in the DC universe. It's really fascinating to see how these characters have grown and changed over time and become the people they're going to be. Now, the thing is, I say this is a New Gods video. The idea is there's going to be a sole focus, which we'll get to as we talk about like the story and stuff. But there's like a million of them. I say that loosely, but I'm like, okay, there's everybody that works under Darkseid. There's all like the New Genesis people. There's the ones and it's like you got Darkseid, Desaad, Granny Goodness, and you got, Kalibak. And you have all of that shit going on there, and you got Light Ray and Highfather, and you got Orion, and all that shit going on over there, and then the ones people know, and it's like, oh, Okay. Whew. How do you make that a movie? It's complicated bullshit nobody wants to get into, right? That all sucks. It's like, there's just so much stuff in there. And it's kind of fun. You do enjoy yourself when you're looking at all of that crap, but you're also like, okay, I know why this isn't successful. And that's fine. That's the thing. It's a lot to deal with. And I always recommend, like, if you really want to know, and if you are going to put in the time to understand what is being said to you, Jack Kirby's Fourth World New God stuff is very compelling. It's a really interesting read. I'm sure DC has collected it numerous times over the years, and it just makes for a very fascinating, like, study of, like, this guy so angry at the world creating these things and having a good concept with it. I think that's really cool. Jack Kirby's great, and I will always support him, and he has made some really fun characters over the years. I don't know. What else can I really say about the New Gods other than, if you know, you know. If you don't, get ready for the most intense ride of your life. You know? It's kind of crazy. And the thing is, these characters haven't really had on-screen depictions before. I'm not counting the Zack Snyder Justice League stuff where here's Steppenwolf and here's Darkseid and I guess Granny Goodness for a minute, and you're like, look at how cool and well written these characters are. Because they're not. They're not good in those movies. And that's why we aren't making a movie with them anymore, is because we fucked it up so bad in that one. And that sucks. So that's the only attempt of those characters we have really seen, right? Not much else. And I get it. What are you realistically going to do? Right? It's convoluted. So here it is. This is what I would do if I were given the keys to the New Gods car and said, hey, franchise this out, baby. There's only one way to do this, in my opinion, and it is a simple enough story that makes it so easy and honest to follow. You do the love story that defies DC Comics. One of the best love stories out there. The escape artist and his big hot wife. That's right. The New Gods movie should and always have been focused on Mr. Miracle and Big Barda. So that is the pitch we're going for. I don't even need to be like, hey, the Batman was like Chinatown. This is just simple, like, it's a love story of people in a war. That's what we're doing here. So here is the premise. Here is the plot of the New Gods movie that needs to be made. It's simple. Give us your crappy narration backstory of, Orion coming to Highfather and Scott coming to, Apocalypse, putting like the war pits and all that shit. And then it's a simple story, a tale as old as time, a escape artist boy who wants to leave the pits of Apocalypse, meets this beautiful, big, strong, vivacious woman named Barda. They fall in love as these two warriors trapped in these pits, and the movie is about their love conquering hell. It's about them falling in love, escaping Apocalypse, and escaping New Genesis. That is the key to this, okay? She is strong and powerful. He is smart enough to escape anything. They fall in love in the pits. Boom, they escape Granny Goodness. Boom, they escape the Furies. Boom, they get to New Genesis. Boom, they escape Lightray. Boom, they escape Highfather. They escape everybody, and they end up on Earth, and that is when they become a really fun, escape artist act where he meets Funky, whatever his name is, and then he's just like, yep, we're doing this now. Look how fun we are. That's it. That is the story. I don't think it's complicated in any form of the word. It is a very simple premise to follow. Look at this couple, so perfect together that he's going to risk his entire life to save her, that she is going to risk her entire life to save him. We need to buy their romance. They're the two most important New Gods out there. The two most important characters in the New Gods universe are Mr. Miracle and Big Barda. We should be following them no matter what happens. And yes, even though it's a New Gods movie and they're our focus, you can have them all show up. Maybe Orion starts to hunt them for a bit. Maybe they have to fight Forager and everything, going through that part of the world. We can even have Granny Goodness show up. That is all you gotta do. They can all appear, but it's about their love conquering this really shitty planet that is war-torn and broken apart. The Fourth World is trying to kill them, but guess what? Their love is stronger than this war. It's stupid and silly, but that's New Gods, man. That is what we should be focusing on. And some writers can tap into that, like Tom King did, and some just like, this is too esoteric and crazy for me. But I'm like, no, it's not. This is pretty simple. That's what we have to do. That is what we should be focusing on. Now, how do you cast this role? and these characters, I didn't try to cast everybody. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to sit here and tell you who should be Light Ray, but I did cast Mr. Miracle, and I did cast Big Barda, and I've always had a Granny Goodness cast in the back of my head. So let's get into it. Obviously, for Scott Free, this one was kind of hard, but I'm like, Diego Calva has been proving himself a lot lately. I think his love story as Manny in Babylon is exactly the kind of energy I want from Scott. This guy who is so interested in this woman may not be the best for him, but in this case, she is, and he's desperately trying to help her in every way. Diego Calva is exactly who I'd want to be for my Mr. Miracle. Now, when it comes to Big Barda, I had a lot of back and forth going on in my mind. Do you go bodybuilder, hunky woman, strong that could crush me? And I was like, maybe. And then I'm like, what about a wrestler? Would a female wrestler be who I want to see in this? And then I went back and I saw Mitch Gerrits, who worked on the Mr. Miracle comic book, had his own pitch for Big Barda, and it was Kiki Lacey? I don't know how you say her last name. And I'm like, who am I to argue with Mitch? She looks perfect for the role. She looks strong. She could crush me with her thighs and I would be okay. She's my pick for Big Barda. Why would I argue with the man that drew the character? So those two people are hot. I would love to see their romance and to see them escape the clutches of Granny Goodness, who, of course, I have said this in other places, my Granny Goodness is Jennifer Coolidge, because why not? She would be perfect. She looks like Granny Goodness and she'd love that shit. An angry woman with a big mace ready to hurt you. Jennifer Coolidge, baby. Now, when we're looking for a director, there's always been like one that came to my mind that I'm like, yeah, I think they'd be a good fit for that world. I think Ava DuVernay would be a really good fit for a New Gods movie. I don't know about you guys. She was attached to like a DC movie before. I think she could be able to pull off the New Gods pretty well. Wouldn't you say? It's pretty much A Wrinkle in Time, but good. I don't know. I think that's it. That's all I got to say. Love story that conquers all. Calva and Lacey. Coming at you in a theater never, because they would never do this, but it's awesome anyways. And that's the New Gods. Look at Love Conquer All, baby. Thank you for watching this rendition of the Batmaning of. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Hive, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.